Hi everyone, welcome back to my Let's Play series on SimCity 4. Today we shall be continuing our city on Kuala Lumpur. So as you can see here, this is a city in progress and there's still a lot of undeveloped zones. So I hope you all are patient, and then at the end of this Let's Play, which is quite long for this episode, you all probably can see some pretty nice skyscrapers coming up, and then the city fully growing to its full strength with its very nice buildings. So right now I'm just fixing some traffic issues we have around here. As you can see here, I have also spotted some garbage. So we have some issues because there's garbage lying on the road. So we need to go and fix the garbage issue by building some garbage station. So as you can see here, the bottom left corner is my garbage corner where I settle all my garbage issues, where no Sims know, and then I just burn away all the rubbish. So right here, this is actually the spot I left for my garbage and airport. So this is planned out in advance. So as you can see here, I've lined up the garbage disposal plants along this highway, and this garbage disposal plant will not cause any pollution because it is a modified version of the waste to energy incinerator. So I won't have any pollution issues as compared to the original version, which will cause a lot of pollution. So right here I can save some space by demolishing the other waste to energy plants, so that I have more space to grow my small little city here, which you can see the region is actually not very big. So I know many of you have been saying, and I've realized this also, but in the new SimCity 5, the city space, the land will be very small. So you will have no choice but to build huge skyscraper cities like this one, because if you build suburbs and stuff, in no time the city space will be used up. So I'm hoping that they do give us bigger city sizes and stuff like that. And last week I've also shared with you all my thoughts about SimCity 5, the new SimCity that's coming up, even though some of my thoughts were a bit like here and there and not really very organized, but y'all do catch the gist of what I'm talking about and stuff like that. So as you can see, I'm tweaking my text rates a bit, and my city is growing pretty well, so we shall just watch it grow for a moment. And some nice up and coming skyscrapers are coming up. So when you zoom in, you can see the city is getting pretty big. So all these major traffic infrastructure that I planned out in the past will be very useful later on. And here we have a very nice modern monorail station, or elevated rail station, sorry, which is not really used because it has a lack of connection to the road, surprisingly. So I shall try to fix it by building another road adjacent to it, and hopefully this will work because this is a very busy commercial and residential district over here. And as you can see here, even though I built 2 hospitals, the capacity is running out. So there's too many patients here, so I need to build another one. So I like one thing about SimCity 5 is that you don't need to build so many new buildings like this. I have to staff like 3 hospitals in this corner because the population is growing too big. Because in new SimCity 5 you can actually just build helicopter pads and extension to the hospital, so that you don't have to repeat a building so many times, and you can save some space for your city and stuff like that. So it's not very annoying, and your hospital actually looks bigger and more upgraded, and it's more realistic of what happens in real life. You don't just keep building hospitals, you also upgrade the ones that you formerly had. So you build more rooms for your patients and stuff like that. Similarly for the schools and everything else. So as you can see here, my city is growing pretty nice and well, and somehow the garbage is still having some major issues, so I shall try and fix it. So as you can see here, there's a lot of funny problems coming up, and one problem about my city is the way my highways are built. So some corners of the city are pretty isolated, with only one road connecting it to the rest of the city. So you need to try and fix it and stuff like that. So in these type of spaces, I usually put all these facilities so that not much Sims are here, and then there won't be so much traffic bottlenecks and stuff like that. So as you can see here, my schools are used up pretty well. So there's still some strikes and stuff because the city is growing too quickly. Now my population is 270,000 around there, so we need to try to quickly fix the garbage issues and the education and hospital. And as you can see here, sometimes even though there's a lot of garbage plant, but you need the landfills to place the garbage first before the incinerator can finally work, so that the garbage can be on the landfill before and then the garbage on the streets will be removed, so that the how do you say it, these energy plants will be able to remove the garbage after that. Because if you build so many of these plasma gasification plant without any landfill, the garbage on your streets will still be more than the capacity. The capacity is provided by our landfill, so at the end of the day, the garbage will still be on the streets. That's just some issue about SimCity 4. So as you can see at the moment the landfill comes out, the buildings turn into darkness, fade into darkness because it's abandoned and stuff like that. People don't like living near landfills. So as you can see here, my city is too small to build landfills, because I'm like building the whole capital city of KL in this land, which is nearly impossible because Kuala Lumpur itself has actually like a few million people. So as you can see here, this is my industrial hub along with my residential hub over here. So I decided to build some parks for the Sims and stuff like that, because there's lack of parks in this area where the land is scarce, but Sims still need some place for relaxation and rest and stuff like that. Places where you can jog, or you can I don't know, walk your girlfriend or something like that, So as you can see here, the university is facing issues also. So we need to fix the university, the education problems, or the standard fare of SimCity 4. Well, in the upcoming SimCity 5, I don't know, we also have all these facilities. The beta has not really shown us, their full strength of all their buildings and stuff like that. So it feels as if there's many limited options in SimCity 5, and it is like very eye candy and stuff like that. But we do not know until the actual game comes up. So I'm actually looking quite forward to it, even though there's some drawbacks and stuff like that. I believe it won't disappoint, even though it will be considerably different from this SimCity 4 that we have, because every time the game develops and upgrades, the developers take it to another level that they want it to be. So as you can see here, maybe they focus less on the the development of the city itself, like the macro issues, and more of the micro issues where you can actually interact with the Sims, and then they'll be the ones telling you what the city has and what its problems and stuff like that. So you are the mayor, and then you are able to interact with them and then improve their life and stuff like that. Instead of in SimCity 4, you are the mayor and then no one talks to you except your advisors and stuff like that. So there's a difference, and it feels more like a community in SimCity 5. Not just the Sims talking to you, and you don't feel so isolated as a mayor, but also like other players being online and interacting with you as well and playing with you. So there's pros and cons, and I don't know, some people have mentioned about the stability of the game. You can play online, but what if your internet is bad? And also, what if other players do not play that well and they'll cause problems for you and stuff like that. So we shall wait and see how it goes. And right here, I shall be building an airport. So I made just precisely the right size for airport. So there's only one possible spot for me to build an airport, right beside the highway and the road. So it clicks here very nicely. This is shall be the KL International Airport. So I can build a convention center as well. But unfortunately, there's no space for my city. So we shall see how it goes. And my city is growing pretty well. And I guess, I have like criticized the SimCity 5 game a bit. Because, I think one of the reasons is because I feel that there's this lack of variety of buildings in SimCity 5 as compared to SimCity 4, in SimCity 4 we have many types of buildings, so the city never looks boring, and every corner of the building every corner of city you have nice buildings, so it looks like there's a variety, and then it looks more real as a city. While in SimCity 5 it looks a little bit more cartoonish, even though there's different variation of buildings as well. I guess it's more about gameplay, like collaboration with people, like the way you interact with your sims, so called, and how you play other players, and complete quests together. So I'm looking forward to the aspect, and moving away from just city building as it is, and building a very nice aesthetic city. So it's not so much about the aesthetics, it's not so much about the design of the city, even though you can still design the city a bit. Well, it's more about how you play the game with other players, in a real city. So there's this shift in emphasis of what they want to do. So as you can see, a lot of eye candy buildings are coming up in the city, which makes me very happy. So every time a skyscraper comes up, I feel this sense of thrill. So I do hope that I can build some nice cities, skyscraper cities in SimCity 5 as well. Because so far of all the beta gameplays I watched, I guess the gameplay is too short, so the city is unable to progress to its final stages of development, where all the large buildings, commercial and residential, come up. So I think when they come up, it will look very nice. So I cannot just judge the game by just watching the beta gameplay. And I remember one of the trailer gameplays, they did show a very nice skyscraper city, so I'm looking forward to building that. Of course, once you finish building that, then you'll advance on to more types of cities, like suburb cities, or small villages with forests and stuff like that. So there's many ways to play the game, and more people will get to try it, and it's a lot more simpler, I would say, and easier to pick up. So I'm feeling very happy about that as well. So this is my commercial district, so I'm just going to build some small buildings, like the small commercial districts in Malaysia, in KL, where people can shop and stuff like that, to make it feel more realistic. So even though there's a lot of skyscrapers in KL, but the moment you zoom in, you can actually see many small buildings where people shop and stuff like that. As you can see here, along that busy avenues, the industrial hub, there's actually a lot of shops for tourists in Malaysia, and also for the citizens itself. So I'm just expanding the avenue here, because there's some traffic congestion here, and somehow I have a problem extending the network. So I think it's because of this intersection here. So I need to delete it before I can actually build the avenue. So as you can see here, it is alright, and now I have successfully built a avenue to link up to another main avenue. So right here I shall just build commercial shops, and here we are. So more commercial shops and more shopping for our fellow sims. Hope they enjoy it. And as you can see, some low-wealth shops are coming up, which looks pretty nice. So this place is beginning to flourish and look more like a nice big city. So I'm just checking out the traffic. So the sims have very funny ways of commuting. Like like a few sims from each building will go to like some workplace, instead of like sims from all over the place going to a single building itself, which is more realistic, which is shown in SimCity 5, where all the sims actually are doing something. They are going to shop, or they're going to work, or they're at home, and stuff like that. So I guess when you can actually monitor each sim like a police state, you actually demand a lot of the graphics and the a lot of engine, the memory power, because it's very hard to track each sim where they're going. You need a lot of storage space, without the sim or the car disappearing unrealistically in SimCity 4. So right now you can actually know where everyone is going in SimCity 5. Perhaps there's a reason why you cannot build such large cities in SimCity 5 as in SimCity 4. So my fellow friend, one of the YouTube channels, have actually built a city which has 7 million people. I really doubt that you can do that in SimCity 5, because the the game is more focused on community play, so you can't really build a large city. I mean, you can build a large city, but it won't be so big as you can see here, because the game will lag a lot. If there's too much sims, and it will just take up too much memory space for the online engine, where it controls each city from an external server overseas. So it's impossible to build a very huge city. So as you can see here, my water coverage is all good. And I'm just checking out my new districts, building a new water pump for my sims and stuff like that. So if you haven't realized, my commentary is actually not that good. It's just normal, but it's because I like this game. So I decided to spend some time making commentaries of how I make my cities. And I actually made the cities before I added a commentary like today. So you're actually listening to me like what I've recorded very recently, instead of the game itself, where actually I've made this city like some months ago. So as you can see here, I'm just building some industrial hubs, and the city is flourishing pretty well, even though it shows like a very low demand for industrial zones, but actually like huge high-tech buildings are coming up. And all these high-tech industrial buildings that I downloaded from Metropolis that provide 1,000 jobs will provide me with a lot of income. That's why as you can see here, my monthly income exceeds the monthly expenses by a lot, because of the high amount of jobs in the high-tech industries, which cause my city to have a lot of net income from these jobs. And when there's a high demand for, and there's a lot of people working in high-tech jobs, then you also have demand for high-tech commercial jobs. So there's a lot of skyscrapers coming out as well, because in each of these companies, every time you have a product to market or sell, you also need factories like these high-tech buildings to build and make these products as well. So in SimCity 5, the realistic part is really like you can actually watch the different zones interact with each other, like in a sense like the residential zone interact with the commercial zone, because the sims go to work and go to shop, while the commercial also interact with the commercial zone also interact with the industrial zone, because you'll see like the trucks carrying the goods to the commercial zones from the industrial to be sold and stuff like that. So it is more realistic in the sense that everyone is doing something that they can actually track. And through this micro issue, you can actually manage the macro issue of the city. So as you can see here, my garbage issue is coming up again, so I need to fix it, because this is what happens in a large city. I once had a city where I didn't manage my garbage issue, and in the end I built a very large landfill zone, and this landfill actually needed like $3,000 a month, so it's quite crazy. So the long term solution is not a landfill. It's actually a lot of these waste to energy plants, where you can actually eliminate this garbage without dumping it to the landfills. So as you can see here, I built some incinerator as well. Hopefully it works. And all these are downloaded from Metropolis as well. So as you can see here, my incinerators are coming up, and my city is growing very well. And yes, and in a short span of a decade, my city has sprung up to become a huge metropolis, and it's getting very big. So I've decided to build a hydrogen energy plant to supply all my city needs, and more of these garbage solutions as well. So as you can see here, each inch of my city is used very wisely to build the largest possible city. And perhaps I should have just used a even larger region to build KL, so that I have more space to maneuver and actually run the city, and even build a city of a population of more than 1 million or so. But I guess as you can see here, my computer is already lagging a bit, because a lot of memory space is needed for such a huge city. And I'm wondering if this is the case for SimCity 5 as well. I really hope that it won't be so lag in SimCity 5. The memory needs won't be too high and stuff like that. So as you can see here, the air pollution is very bad. And in SimCity 5, there's a new concept called the wind. So every time you build industrial zone or there's a lot of traffic, the wind will carry the pollution to a certain direction. So if you see where the wind goes, you can actually build strategically to avoid the pollution from entering the downtown areas. So isolate it only at the industrial area. So it's quite a smart idea actually, and more realistic as well. So over here, my air pollution has improved quite a bit because I built the air purification plant. So this is my downtown district, and the whole city looks very big right now. So it's going pretty well. So hopefully it will stay that way. And I'm demolishing some buildings that I don't like. So right here, just gonna remove some of these buildings that are very normal and repetitive in nature, because some of these buildings are come out quite frequently because of their low capacity and stuff like that. So I need to remove some of them to prevent my city from looking too repetitive. So in SimCity 5, I hope that the city won't look so repetitive with the same buildings, because each city is very different, and usually the buildings don't actually look the same unless they come from some neighborhood, then they have similar buildings. So hopefully they have a larger variety of buildings and stuff like that. So right here, I shall build my television studio for my Sims. Then I realized when I make this commentary, I'm actually like catching for breath. I don't know why. Feels as if I haven't done a commentary for a very long time. So it's like wherever I talk, then I need to hold my breath, and I need to like pause every moment to take a breather and stuff like that. So it's pretty funny actually. So here I have a nice hotel, and I'm gonna build a medium city hall probably somewhere around here, I guess. Alright, so this is my new city hall. And I want to build a large city hall as well, so I have some issues here. I need to like demolish this and build a large city hall. Hopefully it still works. Large city hall. So I don't want so many city halls in my city. So nice. So we have a very nice city hall here. So this place shall be one of my city centers where I have a nice city hall where the all the politics, all the parliament house is, and where all the planning are for the city. But actually in actual fact I'm the only one planning the city, so it's pretty funny actually. So as you can see here, I'm actually going to build like some reward buildings for my city again. There are still some that I haven't placed, so I shall see what I want to put. I shall build a convention center because it fits nicely to the city, and it will help me to increase the growth of high commercial buildings. So hopefully it works. And some flower gardens to fill out the excess spaces. So as you can see here, just gonna build some parks to let my Sims enjoy and not make my city look so monotonous and boring. So right here I shall have some nice buildings coming up. So I guess for me as a SimCity gamer, what I'm looking forward to is actually like a large variety of a large variety of buildings where I won't get bored of, so the city has some variation and it looks more original and real. Hopefully SimCity 5 does have some realistic buildings. right here I've just built my large church here, right here in the KL and stuff like that. Well, in KL there's not a lot of churches because there are lesser Christians, but there's more Muslims because it is a Malay dominated region in Malaysia. And so right here I'm just checking out my city a bit, and as you can see, my city is growing really well, except for some ugly patches of grass that I haven't really decided on how to use it, and I would just try to fix it in a while. And there's some ugly old buildings as well where they are abandoned or dilapidated, so I need to fix it as well. And there's a strong demand for residential and commercial zones, so I shall try to give them the supply, and hopefully the city grows out well. And some of these buildings annoy me because they are very repetitive and keep coming up, whereas I want some of the fresher buildings that I downloaded from Metropolis, but many of them have a very high capacity. They provide a lot of jobs and homes, so they don't really come out so oftenly, like this vendor tower and stuff like that. So hopefully in time to come, with some patience, the right buildings can come up, and I shall continue demolishing the boring buildings in my city. So as you can see here, we need some patience, and on the bottom right corner, the middle right corner, some nice residential house is coming up, and the Harbour Hotel keeps coming up as well because it provides a very large residential population. So in KL we don't really have all these buildings. It's just a SimCity city in the end. But I just want to recreate the dense population of the city, where the developers actually grow a lot of these large buildings very recently. So the city actually has very nice skyscraper and construction going on. So that's what I'm trying to recreate in this city, along with the highways and the monorails and the roundabouts and stuff like that, to give it the essence of a nicely designed city, but at the same time with some disorganization with the many types of buildings that are coming out randomly in my city because of the free lease of land to developers to recreate these plots of land for their own use. So as you can see here, right here, this place, the developers have chosen it to be a hotel. Quite a smart idea because there's a beach park over there where I use, so the Sims can use it as well. So right here, now the industrial demand is going up, but my land is very scarce, so I need to try to optimize the land use and stuff like that. And my education levels are rising, which means that the demand of high-tech commercial and high-tech industry will rise because there's a larger workforce for that to materialize. And as you can see here, this is one of my commercial districts where I built, so there are some pretty nice buildings coming up and around this KL tower. So this is the Chelsea Tower, and there are some buggy commercial offices that won't show, so I need to demolish it. And I just want to build some more commercial districts here so that it looks like a very dense and up and coming commercial zone. So right here there's a lot of nice buildings coming up, and there's too many Hilton hotels here, so I just demolished one. And there's a lot of traffic issues, much like KL where there's a lot of congestion as it is in Singapore. So because the city population is very big, so there's bound to be traffic problems in places where it is highly populated. So some nice buildings are coming out again. I like this building designed by one of the fellow models of Metropolis, the Greeky critic and stuff like that. many of these buildings will eventually come out with the right amount of time and patience. So we need to wait a moment for these nice buildings to come out. So, building a large city is actually not very hard. But, building a nice city with really what you wanted in mind, the design and then the right buildings to come out, it really takes some time. So we need to be patient on that and watch out for the nice buildings to make them historical and keep them. While the other ugly buildings, you can just demolish them. So I've been talking on for 30 minutes. It's really quite tiring actually, But I like this game a lot, so I feel like every time I should continue. And thanks for your support and stuff like that. And just watching me play my SimCity 4, which I will dearly miss, when SimCity 5 comes up. This is such a classic game, so even when the new SimCity comes up, I will still play this and we shall see how it goes. If time permits, I actually want to play both games concurrently. And right here we have many nice residential buildings and hospital. There's like 3 hospitals here to sustain my huge population. And I shall improve my traffic infrastructure by building bus stop at the right corners of my city. So actually I left some gaps in between the large houses to perhaps slot in some parks or bus stops so that it doesn't look so cramped and monotonous and claustrophobic where there's too much buildings, high density buildings around. So we are scrolling around checking out for right places to build bus stops even in my shopping districts. So around my avenues, I've actually built some small shops which have materialized and they form my strong core of shoppers paradise in KL and stuff like that. So when time permits, later I will zoom in and show you all the final buildings that actually grew in my city, because when you zoom out you can only see the large buildings that attract a lot of attention, so you don't really catch the small details of the city that really make it look pretty nice and beautiful. So as you can see here, this is another shopping district that looks quite nice, and this is my industrial hub tightly weaved into my residential and commercial districts so that the Sims won't take so long to commute and stuff like that. So I'm just checking out how my Sims are using the elevated rail pretty well actually, so that's not a worry. And water pollution is very low, mayor ratings are fine, traffic volumes are okay, except for the fact that a lot of cars are being used as compared to bus stops. So I guess when the Sims get very affluent, then they will use more cars, and when there's lesser other traffic options like buses and subways, then they won't use so much. So you need to increase the coverage of bus stops and elevated rails. But the city has already grown to such a big size, so it's very difficult to improve the traffic infrastructure, much like the rail city in KL as well, where the city is very developed, so you can't actually just build roads out of nowhere. You need to demolish buildings, which is not very nice. So every time there's this road diversion projects to widen a road, then you'll cause a lot of traffic issues. So I just go demolish some ugly buildings that come out in my city, and those that are not really used. So as you can see, there's a lot of white buildings, the Hawa Hotel, so it's getting quite boring as well. But it provides a lot of residential jobs, which is good because this means that a lot of commercial and high-tech jobs as well. So more skyscrapers will grow, and the traffic is not very good because of the high population in my city. So I shall provide more spaces for my commercial district as well, and hopefully this works out. And some of my buildings are getting quite brown and stuff like that, even though this COP building is quite nice. So I shall attempt to beautify this place and maybe hopefully the desirability of this place increase, and the buildings won't be so abandoned. And right here I have some blankets as well, so I just gonna build some nice boardwalks for my sims to beautify my city and make it not look so boring. And so, I like how, you have these small zones to put in SimCity 4 where you can just plop in some small parks in your city. In SimCity 5, you do have many types of parks, but they are larger and you can just... I don't think you have much option to put very small ones in your neighborhood. So, so that you can create some variation in your neighborhood and stuff like that. So as you can see here, my city is lagging quite a bit because of the largeness and also like the graphic intensity, and my computer is not really very good. So I just save my city, and this is the overview of it. You need to zoom in to see the specific details. And I want to build a movie studio, but there's not much space. So I just hoping like I can just plop it here in this small corner of my city. So here's the movie studio, right in the heart of KL, near the KLCC, where it actually does not exist in the actual city itself. So this is just a fictional city actually. Oh, but as you can see here, some nice buildings are coming up, and every time you zoom out, you can actually spot some developments going on and some new buildings coming up the skyline, and just building some connection to my mayor's house, and hopefully some nice buildings come out. And indeed there's one, so this is a pretty nice commercial office, so I shall keep it. So there's a nice commercial office beside my house. Alright, so I shall give this huge zone for a very big commercial building. Hopefully in the future some large commercial skyscraper will come up instead of these common shopping centers you get where you build 5x5 zones and stuff like that. So there's a redevelopment, but they just upgraded the shopping center to look bigger. And in KL actually you have many nice shopping centers for the people, so actually I like it a lot. There's like plenty of places to shop and walk around, to party, to drink, I don't know. Quite a vibrant city actually. So I shall build some fountains here, and to make the city look more livable, and some spaces for the sims to walk around and take a good walk and stuff like that, so that it doesn't look too boring. So building these recreational zones are actually very important, because you don't want your city to look so boring with all the large buildings and there's no place for the sims to enjoy and let loose and have some recreation. So this building looks too old and dilapidated because there's not much demand for high wealth residential zones, so I just demolish it. And it doesn't look too real as well. Sometimes the design of the models, the buildings are not very nice. I mean, it's nice, but then it doesn't look too realistic, so I just demolish it. And when you zoom in, the city actually looks more realistic because the graphics are finer. So this is my commercial district, which I intended it to be in my Kuala Lumpur, and I built some nice parks near the KLCC so that it looks more realistic and stuff like that. So I actually like this avenue a lot. It looks very real and looks like what KLCC actually looks like. Many large commercial buildings right beside it, and some nice recreational facilities as well. And I'm just gonna build more commercial shops for it. So good. This commercial office looks quite nice, so I don't mind keeping it. And this hotel at the center is not bad as well. And as you can see here, many airplanes are flying past my city and a lot of buildings. And my city is almost going to be fully matured. So, my project of creating KL is almost accomplished and finished. So after this commentary series, I probably go and build some new city so that you don't so that I don't really like rush a city from scratch and it doesn't look too boring. So I'm very happy of the results of this city, which I took quite a while to make. It actually looks quite dense and look like it has a lot of variety because I've created these zones with many types of traffic options and many types of parks and stuff like that. So every corner of the city is never boring, and the Sims can actually like find something to do everywhere they go. So I'm very happy about it. So right here I'm going to create some. I have created some plaza district for my Sims, and I'm just scrolling around my city to see how it's growing. It's growing pretty well, so I might as well like find some places to recreate parts of KL that I like. So I shall see what I can do here. Build some bus stops and stuff like that. Alright, there's like a repetition of bus stops, so I shall demolish it. Whoa, so some very nice large buildings coming out. Surprisingly, so I'm always looking forward to these large buildings coming out that make my city look more realistic. To make it have a larger variety. And what's more, is very near the KLCC, so there's this effect of the city center, which is very nice. So this is called the NPC Insurance Code. Alright. So as you can see here, when I finish building my city, there's nothing much else for me to do except for the regular maintenance that I usually do. So the demand of the commercial district are actually still quite high. I shall try to fit in some, fire station and stuff like that. Oh, but there's a flea market, so it creates some sort of realism in the city. So I shall try to keep the flea market because there are actually quite some flea markets in KL. But they don't really grow in my city, so when one comes up, I shall keep it. Because the land value of the place is too high, so you do have much low wealth commercial shops coming up. So hopefully some nice buildings can come up. I don't know what's coming up, but I think it shall be fine. We shall see how it goes. Alright. So this place is kind of like not used well because there's some old residential house growing, so I want to build a large commercial office here. So I shall see how it goes, and hopefully some large office comes up nearby my mayor statue and the KL Tower. Alright. So things take time, so I shall wait a moment for the city to grow. And maybe redevelop this region of my city by a bit. Oh, okay. Not really working very well, so we need to wait a moment. And I apologize, if this commentary of this episode is more boring than it was like the last episode, because I don't know how to say, but I'm actually pretty tired and stuff like that. So even though that's not a very good excuse, but still, you can hear it from my words when I actually sound tired. So I guess I still hope you all enjoy my commentary series, and hopefully you all focus more on how I build my city instead. So many of the times I actually focus on hoaxing the right buildings to come up, but actually they don't. So it really takes time, and it can get pretty boring waiting for the right buildings to come up. So meanwhile, I shall just beautify my city by building like swimming pools and fountains and places of recreation for my Sims, especially near the KL Tower and stuff like that. So alright, the city is growing very well, and sometimes you do see some nice buildings coming up, and other times you don't. So this city has been running for like 58 years, and it's a money machine because I've actually like $27 million in my coffers, which is kind of mean for a mayor. Feels like I'm actually like taking the money of the Sims and not giving them back. But my education and healthcare services are quite adequate, I would say, because there's no strike and stuff like that. So it's fine. And we should just wait a while for a nice building to come up. I do like the Ryan Insurance building because it's quite boring. It always comes out in my city, so I always demolish it where I see it. And my education level is slowly rising and it's quite okay. So hopefully I can actually like, I don't know, this building keeps coming up. And I accidentally use some English, so it just makes me very annoyed. This building makes me very annoyed. It just keeps coming up, you know. It looks nice when it's alone, but you know, when it keeps growing, then you get pretty annoyed. So, you know, I've switched on the night view of the city, so it looks pretty nice. I like it a lot. And the KL Tower actually looks green, if you have seen it in a brief moment just now. So it's kind of weird. But other than that, the building looks pretty nice. As you can see here, green lights is actually like yellow, more like so, you know. The night lights give some sort of vibrancy to the city, and it looks more looks like a bustling city, you know, a very livable and lively city. So next week I shall continue my KL series, and hopefully I do some more energetic, because you know, I guess like the weekday duties on me serving national service has taken its toll on me, so I just sound pretty tired. I do apologize for that, and hopefully you all still enjoy, you know, watching my city grow as I did, you know, watching it grow and developing it and making some new zones to host the buildings to grow and stuff like that. So as you can see here, this is my overview of my city, and I shall leave it here as it is to let you all enjoy how the city looks like. And just for fun, I've named it Berjaya Hotel because, you know, I like to stay there when I go to KL. So alright, this is how my city looks like. And next week, hopefully I can see you again, or in the next few weeks. And I do really look forward to the release of SimCity 5. And so, see you all soon, and do take care of yourself and have a great time.